better have the best Trinities in your deck, ready for the final round. Cause this is Trinity YouTube, but you're here for a deck breakdown.
In this episode, we're covering a pretty new deck with the release of the Rokket structure deck that is Rockets. It's a really simple deck to play in my opinion, but it's also pretty fierce. Going straight into the list here, we're playing every single Rokket monster there is. This is Trinity, so you want to have the most consistency on the things you're playing. And luckily for us, every single Rokket monster, well, most of them, are searchers for all the other Rokket monsters. Any of these guys are destroyed by battle or card effect. In the end phase, you can just slam out another one from your deck. These are kind of like TGs in that case, so you can sort of like maintain your board presence and crash into your opponent's stuff. Because of that, we're playing things like Supply Squad, Squib Draw, stuff to like pop your own things is fine to do. We've also opted to play a lot of kind of self-destruction cards, Blind Obliteration and Torrential Tribute. Not only do these hinder our opponent, they're also going to kind of give us a chain beat style of gameplay if we're not going into the extra deck. Finally, on the sort of main core of the deck, Absoluta Dragon. If it's sent to the graveyard by any means, you search anything. Because of this, we're playing a lot of mill effects such as Dragon Shrine, Foolish Burial, Dragon Ravine, and all the things that search Dragon Ravine. You know, the whole deck. Anything that sends anything to the graveyard, you're sending Absoluta to get the search. Even if you send it as a material with Rokket Synchron, you're still getting the search. It's really strong. We've also got a Dark Armed in here, because it's Dark Armed, it's like a very broken card. We can search it with Brotar, I think this guy's called now. Also got a Keeper of the Shrine here, just to sort of maintain board presence, as well as the Predaplant, because we're playing Darks, lets us make Rafflesia with any other Dark in our hand or on board. Rafflesia is a really strong card. Quick Resolve, or Quick Launch I think it's called now, lets us summon anything from the deck. Already mentioned our mill effects, pretty much always sending Absoluta, but these are also backup targets. Supply Squad, we are sort of killing our own dude, so anytime that happens we can just draw cards. As you'll see in the replays, this lets us draw a lot of cards. If you go into the late game, our Avarice cards are just going to reset all of our Rockets, so our opponent has no chance of sort of burning through them. Notably with Chicken Game here, on going into field spells, we can pop it with Rokket Tracer so that our opponent doesn't get to use the Chicken Game. Turns this kind of into a searchable upstart, which is kind of cool. Rapid Trigger lets us go into the really strong Poraload Furious Dragon. This card's also quite oppressive. This gives it protection as well and triggers our Rockets. It's pretty insane. You can also make it with Necrofusion, which is quite cool. And going on to kind of just boss monsters here, you can revive them with Premature Burial and Buddy Force. Normally it takes your opponent a little bit of effort to get around a Beals. This has got a lot of protection. Summoning back with a Buddy Force is just really oppressive. If you have a lock of both Beals and Furious Dragon, your Furious Dragon can just keep popping an opponent's card every turn. You can just keep targeting your Beals and your Beals won't get destroyed. We've also just got a bunch of generic removal. I kind of like Lightning Vortex this format, gets around Dark Eclipser. Watch the Dark Eclipser video if you haven't sort of already seen that. Twin Twisters, Called by the Grave, Guard Dragon Cataclysm, got into Torrential and Blind Obliteration. Now, this deck doesn't really need any single play starter. Some people mentioned that you can play more Quick Launch. I've just opted to play 3 sets of Co-Forbidden cards. It's Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm Duster, Solemn Strike, Lost Wind, and Crackdown. Realistically, you can play any sort of combination of more Absolutas or mill effects or whatever you like. It just depends on what sort of style of deck you're playing. Quickly going over the extra deck, we've got Norden, which we can make with Instant Fusion, normally just to make rank 4. Predafiant, Chimera Rafflesia, Orload Furious Dragon, Beals, Orload Savage Dragon, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, Exciton Knight, Castel, Orload X Charge Dragon with a capital X, Big Eye, which we normally make with Absoluta and Explode a Rocket, which you can special summon Absoluta from hand if you just summon this from your deck, Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, Wee Witch, Nightmare's Phoenix and Unicorn, and Borolo Dragon, because, you know, it's Rockets. All in all, this deck is really strong. I think it's really easy to get into if you haven't played Trinity before and you're looking for kind of a new way to get into the format with recent cards. This deck is not rocket science, but outside of that, let's just get into the games.